Hi, friends. What if suffering is not merely an obstacle to happiness but a doorway to transformation? Modern culture tells us that the purpose of life is to eliminate pain. We seek comfort, security, and convenience. Every advertisement promises a life free from discomfort. Yet the paradox is striking. Despite unprecedented comfort, anxiety, depression, and loneliness continue to rise. Today we turn to two extraordinary thinkers who refuse to see suffering merely as a curse, Friedrich Nietzsche and Sri Aurobindo. Both believed that suffering can transform us, but they understood that transformation in profoundly different ways. Nietzsche sought the creation of the Ubermensch, the individual who rises above mediocrity through self overcoming. Sri Aurobindo envisioned the emergence of a divine humanity through the evolution of consciousness. Their journeys begin at the same point, pain, but they arrive at different destinations. Imagine two sculptors standing before enormous blocks of marble. The first says, "Strike harder. Every blow removes weakness." The second smiles and replies, "Strike carefully. The divine image hidden within is slowly emerging." Both use the hammer, both create beauty, yet their vision of the final sculpture is entirely different. Nietzsche is the first sculptor, Sri Aurobindo is the second. For Nietzsche, suffering is the forge of strength. Nietzsche's own life was marked by relentless suffering. He endured chronic migraines, severe eye disease, digestive disorders, loneliness, professional isolation, and repeated disappointments in love. Most of his greatest books were written while battling excruciating physical pain. Rather than asking, "Why am I suffering?" he asked, "What can suffering make of me?" Perhaps the most famous words of Nietzsche are, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." These words are often quoted casually, but Nietzsche meant something deeper. He did not mean suffering automatically strengthens us. Some people become bitter, others become wiser. Pain itself is not the teacher, our response is. Imagine climbing a mountain. Every step burns your muscles. The air grows thinner, your legs tremble. Would you conclude that climbing is harmful simply because it hurts? Of course not. The very resistance develops strength. For Nietzsche, suffering is psychological altitude training. Without resistance, there is no greatness. An old legend says that the eagle deliberately flies into violent storms. Why? Because the storm's powerful winds lift it higher than calm skies ever could. Ordinary birds flee the storm, the eagle uses it. Nietzsche wanted human beings to become eagles, not victims of circumstance but masters of circumstance. One of Nietzsche's most profound ideas is amor fati, love of fate. Not merely accepting life, not merely tolerating suffering, but loving everything that has shaped us. Imagine reading your life as a novel. Would you tear out every painful chapter? Without those chapters, perhaps there would be no courage, no compassion, no wisdom. For Nietzsche, every wound becomes part of one's masterpiece. Sri Aurobindo also witnessed immense suffering. He experienced imprisonment during India's freedom struggle. He saw human violence, war, ignorance, and the limitations of the human mind. Yet, his interpretation differs fundamentally. He writes, pain is the hammer of the gods to break a dead resistance in the mortal's heart. Notice the difference. Nietzsche says suffering strengthens the individual. Sri Aurobindo says suffering awakens consciousness. The goal is not simply becoming stronger, the goal is becoming more conscious. Imagine holding a tiny seed. If the seed could speak, it might complain, I am being crushed. But from outside, we know something else. The shell is breaking because the tree is emerging. What appears as destruction is actually birth. Sri Aurobindo viewed much of human suffering this way. Our ego resists growth. Life applies pressure until a larger consciousness begins to emerge. A goldsmith places gold into fire. The gold might think, I am being destroyed. But the goldsmith knows impurities are being removed. Fire reveals what was already there. Similarly, suffering often exposes our fears, attachments, and hidden strengths. It becomes an instrument of purification. We shall continue further.